Alright, so welcome back to another Blender video. I know it's been a long time since I last made a video. It's actually been 3 years, and I do apologize for it. I have read your comments. I don't think it's useful to reply to them, but if you need a reply to them, just drop a message here on the comment section, and yeah, I will get back to you. So, in the last video, we talked about modeling and lighting, but we barely scratched the surface on lighting. So, let's get deeper into lighting. When you hit Shift A and go down to the lighting section, you'll find a point light, sunlight, spotlight, and area light. These are some extra lights from an add-on I have called Light Wrangler. Let's start with the first one. Basically, I would say a point light is an omnidirectional light, which we'll get into further. A sunlight is a directional light, which doesn't have a fall off. And a spotlight is a highly controlled point light with a direction and a controllable fall off. An area light, arguably, not arguably, everybody knows this, area light is the best light in Blender. Basically, it's a directional light, it's a rectangle light which has really nice scatters and it's perfect for most situations. So, let's get started. First of all, let's make a bit of a scene for ourselves. Alright, now that we have a scene for ourselves, let's go into render mode. You can either click here to go to render mode, or you can hit Z on the keyboard and go to rendered. So my default is set to cycles. When you first open Blender, it may have been set to Eevee. So change it to cycles, and on the devices, go to GPU. If you don't have a GPU, you can go with CPU, but real-time rendering might be pretty slow with CPU. If you don't have GPU there, and you do have a GPU which is capable, go to system, and under here you will find CUDA or Optics if you have NVIDIA, and HIP and OpenAPI, which is for Mac and AMD users. Let's start with the first light. When you hit Shift A and go to the point light is an omnidirectional light. What does that mean? It means that it emits light to all directions, but it does have a fall off. As you can see on the corners here, it's pretty dark, and the mid here, it's pretty light. So it does have a pretty sharp shadow, but if you go to settings, and you can find the radius value here. If you increase the radius, the bigger the radius, the more scattered the shadows are. I know it looks cool, but let's get to area lights and you see what's cooler. So moving on, let's go to sunlights. Sunlights basically work as a real-world sun. It doesn't have a fall-off, it's directional, and no matter how far you go on the scene, it's still lit up the same way. So just like the point light, just like every light, it has a power, and just like the point light, it has a shape slider, but this time it's called angle. You can do the same thing with the sunlight, but it's more directional and does not have a fall off. Now moving on to spotlights. Spotlights are basically a point light, but with the direction and a lot more control. So when we go to the settings here, just like the spotlight, we have a radius, and we do have a bunch of more settings, which is the size and the blend. This light has a direction and a cone that is controlling the fall off of it. So this is nice for making lights like flashlights, or a specific light in the scene which you want to be emitted as a light on a room, for example. Now let's move on to area lights. Area lights are the best. I mean, you can just look at it and decide for yourself which one you want to use. So area lights are a box which is scattering light. So it's more like studio lights, but inside Blender, of course. It does have a fall off. If you hit S, just get it down, and you get it closer, you see a fall off. So it's like a barn door, which opens to the areas of here, 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 and here. So you can see from the light fall off here where it is opened. So if you want to close the barn door, you can go to spread and do that, which also sharpens the shadows and make the light more closed. Alright, let's light the scene, and I can teach you more about basic 3-point lighting. So 3-point lighting is one of the most basic lighting when it comes to studio lighting. One light is a key light, which is mostly from the front here, and one light which is going to be the backlight, which is going to be from the back, of course. I'm going to increase the size of this and the power a little bit. And there's another light called a fill light. A fill light is a light that brightens up these really dark spots. So I'm going to duplicate this light, go to here, and I can align it to the bottom here, reduce the strength of it. And then I can go to this light, make it more sharper. And you can hit this button to turn off all these little lines here, so you can check the scene. Alright, there we go. So now you know about lighting, and on the next video, let's talk more about Eevee and cycles. Until then, have a nice one.